This is Ricardo Diaz with the Patriotic Immigrant, and today we're going to be doing a deep dive into the statements that Thomas Massie made a few days ago on the Congress floor. He named some people and from the Epstein file. These are one of the things that he ran on in Kentucky. He ran on exposing these people, and not just exposing them, but filing criminal charges against them. I did a deep dive into these names, and we need to have a serious conversation about these people. They're monsters. We need to really go after them and everyone else on that list. Um, Prosecute them, not investigate them and prosecute them. I don't know how we're going to be able to do this impartially. Maybe it should just be judged by the his peers, right? As we as society should judge these people and boycott their politics, their policies, and get them out of office, get them out of power. Stop buying their. These guys are billionaires, they're business owners. If we stop supporting their businesses, they lose their money, right? They disappear, they go away. There's plenty of ethical people that are business owners. We should be promoting them, not these monsters. So before any further, again, just please like and follow so I can make more of these. I'm getting minimal engagement. I'm also less active. I'm not a big fan of social media, but I do believe that this stuff is important, and I don't trust a lot of these guys online that are from one side of their mouth they're saying, I'm a good person, listen to me, and then from the other side they're promoting DraftKings and sexual reproduction things, right? Hims and all these other companies to sell sex pills. Guys, eat healthier. Don't gamble. Invest your money. Don't gamble. Invest your money and eat healthier. Work out. Avoid masturbating, and you won't need to have sex pills, right? You just don't need it. Nobody's gonna pay me enough to go against my morals and my values. So because of that, I created this channel, right? It's me and my study. That's it. There's no camera crew. There's no producer. There's no nothing. And if this channel were to ever grow into something else, I would stand, right? I make enough money that I don't need to compromise myself. So with that being said, this is the video from Thomas Massie, and then we'll do a deep dive on it.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Kentucky, Mr. Massie, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Congress created the Department of Justice. Congress funds the Department of Justice, and Congress is responsible for the oversight of the Department of Justice. When will we see justice? I'll tell you what I've not seen. I've not seen any arrests from the revelations in the Epstein files, over 3 million documents describing horrible things, describing unspeakable things, so much of it redacted. Over 24 people have resigned, CEOs, members of government worldwide, but I haven't seen any arrests or investigations here in the United States from this Department of Justice. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, who has since been stripped of his royalty, his royal titles due to his affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein, has been arrested. Peter Mandelson, who previously served as UK's ambassador to the United States, resigned in disgrace from United Kingdom's House of Lords and the Labour Party, and he's been arrested. Former Prime Minister of Norway, Torbjorn Jagland, has been charged, but we don't see any charges, arrests, or investigations in the United States. What do we see? We see our FBI director celebrating in the locker room at the Olympics overseas. It's fine to be proud of this country, but we should be proud of this country because we have a system of justice that works, and yet we do not. Who are the men that should be investigated? I'll name them right here. Leon Black. You don't even have to see past the redactions to see that this man needs to be investigated. Jess Staley, accused of terrible things. It's right there in the files. Why is he not being investigated? And Leslie Wexner, why did the FBI list him as a co-conspirator in their own documents in a child sex trafficking case, and then tell him, according to him, that they had no questions for him. Why is that? Well, the Epstein Files Transparency Act requires the DOJ and the FBI to disclose to us their internal memos and emails about how they made those decisions, whether to prosecute or not prosecute. Yet they have not delivered those memos. And we still don't have the memos and documents and emails from 2008 to explain why Jeffrey Epstein was given such a light sentence in what would have been an open and shut case of child sex trafficking, which allowed him to go back and recommit these terrible crimes, create hundreds of more victims, and ensnare so many other people in his conspiracy. Where are those documents that describe those decisions? We need justice. We want the Department of Justice to get to work, and that's what they need to do now.
All right, so the names of the people that have been prosecuted, right? One of the things he didn't discuss were what they were prosecuted for. I would imagine this is political theater, right? He is a politician. He implies that they were being arrested for allegations of sexual misconduct. In fact, the three people have been investigated for finance crimes. None of the charges for sexual allegations have led to criminal charges. Why? Because of the statute of limitation. These people pass laws to make sure that after a couple of years, a victim cannot press charges on their assaulter and their abuser. Right? So the names of the people that he mentioned that were prosecuted were Prince Andrew, Duke of York, Peter Mendelsohn, the UK's former ambassador to the US, and Torbjorn Jagland, a former prime minister of Norway. Prince Andrew, right? So Prince Andrew is. Let me look at my notes. He's visited Epstein's homes and all his homes around the world, right? And Epstein had several homes, which we'll get into why later, but it has to do with Victoria's Secret. It's got to do with Leslie Wexner. We need to boycott that monster today, right? Even though he was kicked out of the board, it doesn't matter. He became a billionaire as being a monster and a rapist and a pedophile and a just deviant. We need to boycott all his products, everything that because he still gets money from it. He's not on the board of the directors, but he still profits from it. We need to boycott Victoria's Secret. We need to boycott, I'll tell you right now, Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works, Abercrombie and Finch. We need to boycott these companies. My wife loves Bath and Body Works. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but I am gonna have a conversation with her, and we will be boycotting these products immediately. I encourage all of you to boycott these products. Let the world know that this guy is a monster and he needs to be prosecuted and just die in hell, and all his money needs to be taken away and given to his victims. That being said, Prince Andrew, right? So we know for a fact that he flew around the world in Epstein's private jets and hung out with them all the time. They considered themselves to be best pals. Their relationship became a global scandal when allegations emerged that the prince had participated in the abuse. Right? So so there's several allegations against him. The main allegation is by this woman, Virginia Giuffre, a French chick. When she was 17 years old, Epstein and his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Ghislaine Maxwell is a UK citizen, a French citizen, and a US citizen. She was born in France but raised in England by her Mossad agent father. So this girl, Virginia, when she was 17 years old, was forced to have sexual encounters with Prince Andrew on at least 3 separate occasions. Right? There's a famous photograph of Prince Andrew with his arm around the girl when she was 16 years old at a house in London. This girl's French, so she was taken by Epstein and Ghislaine and Prince Andrew from France to some big fancy house in England, right? And in the photo, Ghislaine Maxwell's in the background smiling, right? In 2026, the British police arrested him for the first time. However, it was not for sexual crimes. He was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in the public office, meaning he gave government trade documents to Jeffrey Epstein while he was serving as a UA trade envoy. So meaning that Epstein had information onto what trades were going to go on so he can make moves in the stock market and make money for his friends. And this is all money, sex related. All of it. It all comes down to that. Again, this is going to be a two-parter. I'm going to go over the people who Thomas Massie said have been prosecuted. Right. The next person is Peter Mandelson. He was the UK's ambassador to the US. So who is Peter Mandelson? He's a powerful British politician who was fired as the UK's ambassador to the US and arrested because he secretly shared government secrets with Jeffrey Epstein. In 2013, long after Epstein has been known to be a sexual criminal and a pedophile and a monster, Mandelson emailed him from his government account and asking him for a favor to help him investigate a political consultant. Why is Jeffrey Epstein investigating anyone? Is it because Jeffrey Epstein is a government intelligence agency? Which government? Is it the US government? Is it the Israeli government? Who's he working for? Right? He also reportedly gave Epstein advice on how to get released early from prison when he was in jail. And again, he was in jail. By jail, I mean he would sign in Sunday night and then leave Monday morning and then go to his house. And he would spend Monday through Saturday at his house, between his house in Palm Beach and his house in New York. He was able to travel freely, conduct his businesses, rape women, rape children, abuse people while he was in jail for abusing children. Ridiculous. But money, they're above the law. They're above the law. So there's also photos of Mandelson on Epstein's private island, right, the Little St. James, showing Mandelson in underwear alongside Epstein, who was also in underwear, and a couple of young girls in lingerie. The girls are clearly minors, and he said that those photos were doctored or whatever. They're not. They're not. This guy's a monster, and he shouldn't be alive. The third person is Torbjorn Jagland, right? Jagland, the former prime minister of Norway. A prime minister is like a president. This guy is a monster. He was caught up in the Epstein file scandal, right? He was criminally charged for gross corruption, right? So he secretly used his government position to trade favors, get free trips, and get money from Epstein. Jagland commented on the extraordinary girls he saw while on a trip to Albania in a 2013 email while taking his wife for her 60th birthday. Jagland made bizarre jokes to Epstein, saying, "I can't keep it going unless I'm with young women, as you know." Albania is an interesting country. Albania is a source country for men, women, and children subjected to trafficking in persons, right? Specifically, forced prostitution, forced labor, and forced begging of children. Albanian victims are subjected to conditions of forced labor and sex trafficking within Albania, Italy, Northern Macedonia, Kosovo, and other Western European countries. Since the early 1990s, Albania has experienced relatively high levels of human trafficking. Estimates place the number of girls trafficked in Albania between 1991 and 1991, when Epstein was at his highest peak of sex trafficking, around 100,000 girls. Albania currently serves primarily as a source country for which people are trafficked from, especially to the rest of the European and Western European countries, almost specifically. Guys, these men are monsters. They should not be investigated for crimes against, political scandals. Sure, try them for that. Execute them for abusing girls, execute them for trafficking, take all their assets, all their money, liquidate everything, and give it all to their victims. That's the only way that this can even begin to be justified. I don't even have the words. I have a small child. I can't imagine this ever happening to him. These countries are grotesque. By the way, Albania has this culture in northern Albania called something Kunin culture, Kunun, right? In this culture, women are seen as bags for reproduction, right? They're considered less than. So that 100,000 people number is probably a lot more, because women being extorted, sold, and trafficked isn't considered a crime, because women aren't considered, they're considered property, not people. Today in 2026, these women are considered property, and crimes against them are not reported. We're talking about a population of over 2 million people in the northern Albanian region. These countries are backwards, and they're being exploited by the rest of the world. All right, so this is part 1. Tomorrow or later tonight, maybe, if I have time, we're going to discuss Leon Black, Jess Statley, and Leslie Wexner, that piece of shit. All right, guys, thanks. Again, please like, follow. I have Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever, TikTok. Guys, follow. I'm gonna make more videos, and again, thank you. Take care.